I think it's sort of ironic that there's a question asked, is the escalation working? I think if you pay attention to the news, I think the evidence is pretty clear. But most of you know that I have opposed that war for a long, long time, starting in 1998, pointing out the shortcomings of our foreign policy. So hopefully one day we will wake up and realize that foreign intervention and interventionism isn't the best form of foreign policy, and that we consider a pro-American foreign policy where we tend to mind our business a lot more and not pretend that we can maintain an empire which is bankrupting this country. So although I don't expect too many people to listen to my views and that we will change our policy, but I think soon, financially, we will not be able to afford the empire that we have developed. And that is what has happened to all empires in the past. That's what's happened recently to the Soviet Empire. They collapsed financially. So I think it would be much wiser for us to reconsider the foreign policy that we once held, where we were friends with all countries, traded with countries, tried to set standards, but not to force our views on other people.
If members of Congress had been asking the tough questions and holding our executive branch accountable, providing the oversight that our Constitution mandates, I indeed would still be on active duty today. I am motivated by what's important for our country, what's right for this great country, and what's right for our military and their families. Our national strategy for the global war on terror lacks strategic focus. Our Army and Marine Corps today are at a breaking point. Little to show for it. It's serious. The current surge in Iraq is too little too late. The government of Iraq is incapable of stepping up to its responsibilities. Our nation has yet to mobilize to defeat a very serious threat, which has little to do with Iraq. And it's past time to refocus our national strategy and begin a deliberate withdrawal of U.S. forces. Indeed, it's time to place America's vital interests first. Our troops are mired in the complexity of a brutal civil war, and we have lost sight of the broader objective of defeating worldwide Islamic extremism. The current surge in Iraq, I believe, is too little too late. The so-called surge really amounts to nothing more than a minor reinforcement, a number which represents all that our military could muster at the time. Our counterinsurgency doctrine requires 20 soldiers for every 1,000 in the indigent population. Assuming that there are 6 or 7 million people in Baghdad, the requirement to properly secure the city as a precursor to establishing the rule of law would be over 120,000 combat troops. There aren't that many combat troops in all of Iraq today, even with the surge. What we are seeing is the myth of Sisyphus being played out over and over again. Today's battles in places like Baghdad and Baquba are not new. We have done this before. We've taken this ground many times, but lack the number of coalition and competent Iraqi security forces to not only to clear, but more importantly, to hold and to build. The number of combat troops matter, and we've always lacked the right numbers. Our nation has yet to mobilize to defeat the threat of worldwide Islamic extremism, which has little to do, I believe, with Iraq. Iraq is distracting this country from what should be our focus of main effort. Our leaders have a responsibility to galvanize the American people for what might very well be a decades-long struggle. Americans want to be told the truth. What are we facing? What will it take to win? How long will it take? And what are the consequences of failure? Didn't have to be this way, but we are where we are, and we got to move forward. Thank you, and I'd be happy to take your questions later.